Hi guys! In this episode of REDECORATED, I am really excited to be reacting to DREAMCATCHER's new comeback, OOTD. And I gotta say, it's been a decent amount of time since their last comeback, I believe. If I remember correctly, the last comeback was Bon Voyage. And I literally posted my reaction to that comeback, both the music video and the album, earlier today, so I guess it's a fitting time for me to react to their newest comeback. And yes, obviously I will be reacting to the album as soon as possible, practically as soon as I'm done recording this video. I will be reacting to the B-sides of this album. But before we get there, we need to talk a little bit about the title track, because I am a little bit wary about getting into this one. I've liked the aesthetics that they've been presenting for this new comeback. Like, it seems very different, but I do really like the visuals of everything that they've been showing, that I've seen on the K-pop subreddit. But at the same time, the aesthetic in a way feels very different from them. And this can easily turn out both good and bad, because there have been times before when they've kind of tried to break out a little bit from like their rock prison, so to speak, with something like All Die, for example, which I don't think was like very or at all rock influenced, and I really love that song. It might be my favorite Dreamcatcher title track, and I really like it. And it seems like this might be another case of something like that, where the aesthetic is like more Go Crush, straight up Go Crush, rather than just Go Crush adjacent, which is what Dreamcatcher has kind of been doing. Like, they've been doing the rock sound, but the aesthetics have been kind of Go Crush adjacent, in my opinion anyway. So I feel like this new song, this new title track, could easily go either way. And considering that even the songs that still have like a lot of rock influence, like Bon Voyage, I have not been like the biggest fan of necessarily, I'm really curious to know how I'm gonna feel about this one. But I guess there's only one way to find out, and that is by getting into it. Before we do though, I just want to quickly remind you that I would really appreciate it if you guys could help me out with my transition by donating to my Patreon, my Coffee account, or my PayPal. Because for those of you who didn't know, I am trans, and by doing so, you also get access to the ability to demand me to do K-pop reactions, be it to a specific music video, a specific album, or potentially even the whole artist's discography. If you don't want to spend any money on that though, that's fine. You can still suggest and recommend stuff in the comments down below, but the only sure way to make me react to something is by subscribing to the specific tier that I have created for it over on my Patreon or my Coffee account. Now we've gotten that out of the way though, without further ado, let's get into what you're here for, which is my reaction to Dreamcatcher's new comeback, OOTD, in 3, 2, 1. Okay, that's a different visual for a Dreamcatcher music video. Not something we've seen before, that's for sure. Why are they looking up images of Dreamcatcher? Okay, this is very different. Yeah, this sounds nothing like Dreamcatcher. I'm intrigued, that's for sure. You can still feel some twinges of Dreamcatcher in there, but it's definitely very different. And I feel like this is going to be a very controversial comeback. Dude, I couldn't even recognize Xion there with that haircut. This looks nothing like Dreamcatcher. What the hell? I'm definitely gonna need to listen to this song a second time though, to really decide how I feel about it, because right now I have some mixed feelings. I kinda like it, but I'm also a little scared.
OOTD, this my fashion. Shut up, no more questions. OOTD, this my fashion. Cause I'm feeling combination. Look at my necklace, that is my black dress. Celebrate booty into the club. Elevate without a love, yeah. Vision lights letting the good live. Keep no attention, no need to Drinking the champagne, look at my necklace, wearing my black dress.
I'm honestly just in kind of utter shock right now. I did not expect anything like this. Okay. I'm sure that was the reaction of some of the fans watching this music video. Okay. I don't even know where to really to begin with this. It's very different from Dreamcatcher's usual sound. Like there was barely even a twinge of like the things that I associate with Dreamcatcher's style of music. Like there was very few things that I call like Dreamcatcherisms in this song. Like I kind of appreciate how wildly experimental this is for them, but I'm also again not sure how I feel about these being so different. I've said it. I'm pretty sure we've had this kind of like talk before when I've reacted to some of their songs, which have been again trying to do something outside of their box, so to speak. And I've said that yeah, I don't mind them kind of experimenting with their music and trying something different, but at the same time, I also hope they don't completely like drop the kind of music that they do, because I like them for their like unique sound and unique style. And I still feel like this song, despite the fact that it's very different from like their typical sound, it still feels very unique and very them, you know? But yeah, I don't know. It's definitely a different kind of song for them to do, because typically they're more into the like rockish sound, obviously, and they do very strong vocals and even strong rapping. But I feel like in this one, it was very hard to understand what they were even like singing. And I'm not talking about like understanding what they're actually singing as in the words, but I couldn't hear the phonetics of what they were trying to say, you know? I couldn't hear the words because of the kind of song that it is, which is like a very hip-hoppy kind of thing. Like, this is the most I've ever felt Dreamcatcher was being reminiscent of like Stray Kids or 80s ever, you know? I definitely feel like this is the closest they've been with like the hip-hoppy vibe that this song has. And ultimately, I can't decide whether I like it or not, because again, it feels a little bit messy on this first listen, so I'm definitely gonna need the second listen to really decide how I feel about it. But yeah, I don't know, it's just a little bit of a shock thing right now. I'm a little shocked, and I feel like in the long term I'm gonna enjoy it fine, because it still is very much in my tastes. But that's kind of where my split mind comes from in this case, because it's still in my taste, so I still like it, and I still think we'll find it ultimately enjoyable, but it's outside of the Dreamcatcher box. And I mean, I've talked about it before. I'm a multi-group fan. if I want a particular sound, I go to a particular group. I don't need the groups that I listen to like experiment with their sound too much. I don't mind it, but again, I go to groups for their specific sound. So I prefer when they stick relatively close to what I fell in love with when it comes to their music, because when they don't, issues prop up, like my recent experience with like somewhat of a dislike of Stray Kids' music in the last like year or so, maybe a little more even, where I haven't necessarily hated the music, but I just haven't felt as into it and as attached to it as I was before they came back with like Maniac, because every single comeback since then has been hit or miss for me. Like, I've enjoyed some songs, I really didn't like some of the songs on first listen. Hopefully that's not going to be the case for Dreamcatcher's B-sides, but I'm going to be checking them out in a separate video, so we will see in that one. But yeah, I'm definitely going to be checking it the second time before I decide on my final thoughts about this, so without further ado, let's get into it again in 3, 2, 1. I gotta say though, they look amazing in this music video. There's so many really cool shots, really pretty shots that I'm gonna struggle to decide between for the thumbnails of my Dreamcatcher reactions, so that's gonna be interesting. Also, this feels like a very expensive music video for them. I love Hyokyun's blue hair, it looks amazing. Yeah, I definitely still like this song a lot, but if I had problem with Bon Voyage, I think I'm gonna have an even bigger problem with this one.
OOTD, this my fashion. Shut up, no more questions. OOTD, this my fashion.
Honestly, this is probably the most girl crush they've done. I do like this part a lot. I think this is like the pre-chorus. I do like that part.
OOTD, this my fashion. Shut up, no more questions. OOTD, this my
This definitely feels like one of those Stray Kids and 80s releases where it feels like they've evolved to a new level with their music. It definitely gives off that kind of vibe. But there's also just the struggle with the fact that this is different from Dreamcatcher's music too much, to the point where I don't know if I like how different it is, you know? Even if I find it refreshing. Because like, I really like their rock influenced sound, and I feel like they can keep doing it while still doing new things with it, you know? I don't know if I like them doing something so different from them. And there is a precedent for like girl groups who don't do Girl Crush to all of a sudden do Girl Crush at least once. Like it happened with, I believe it was Weekly. They used to do like cute stuff, and then they came back with Vampara, which I liked it, but I was not happy that they switched from their cute sound to that one, you know? And I feel like I'm having a little bit of that same experience here, just less so, because Dreamcatcher's typical sound is not like the softest thing, so it's like still very like adjacent to that Girl Crush kind of thing, so it's not that far off from them to move from their rock influence sound to this, but I'm still not sure whether I like it or not. Like, this is undoubtedly a good song, a good release, a good comeback, a good aesthetic. Like I said, it feels like the next step in their music. Like, it feels like an evolution of their music in a way, just like frequently Stray Kids and 80s comebacks feel like that. But I don't know, I'm just really struggling with how different it is. Like I said, I'm just in very much two minds about it, because the style is still something that I like, but maybe I would have liked for somebody else to do this song and not Dreamcatcher, and would have preferred for Dreamcatcher to do their typical rock sound, because that's what I love hearing from them, you know? But yeah, I think ultimately I would still need like more listens to this to really decide how I feel about it, because it might end up being like one of my most replayed songs, because I definitely feel like it has that replayability to it, and it's like a very fun song to listen to. Maybe a little muffled. I definitely don't like that fact, because I can't fucking hear what they're singing throughout most of this song. I can't hear the phonetics of it, which is really annoying. But it's still like a good song, very enjoyable, and I like it a lot. But if I already didn't really listen to Bon Voyage too much, because I already felt like it didn't have enough of the rock vibe, then what am I gonna think about this long term, you know? I honestly don't know. So, based on how I feel right now, for me this song is going to be a 9.4 out of 10. I think maybe even it could even be considered a 10 out of 10, but that's, I feel like, depends more on how I feel about it long term, because again, right now I find it enjoyable, I think it's good, I think it's like a real, like, shocking improvement, and like it feels like an evolution of their music. It feels like the next level that they've gotten to, but it's just too much of a departure from their sound for me ultimately as well, and I want my rating to acknowledge that. So I think settling on 9.4 out of 10 is a pretty good middle ground. If you want to go for like considering it a 10 out of 10, that's fine as well. I think if I didn't have the biases against it, and if it wasn't like Dreamcatcher, I would have easily said that it's a 10 out of 10, because it does give off the vibe of a 10 out of 10 song. But I can't ignore my biases there, you know? Because I already explained, I get into specific groups for the particular style that they do, and when they stray away from it, I mean, like, why would I want like Dreamcatcher to do something Girl Crush when I can just listen to some other girl group that does Girl Crush stuff, and probably maybe better even. But yeah, I still like it, I still find it enjoyable, and I'm really curious to see what we're gonna find amongst the B-sides, but that's gonna be for the next video. In the meantime, I wanna ask you guys, what did you guys think about this song? Comment those down below, and let's have a discussion about this. And also, before we end this video, I just wanna give a huge shout out to my currently 2 patrons on Patreon, Deadpool and Corby Dead. Thank you guys for your support, I really appreciate it, it really means a lot to me. If you have decided to support me, if you have continued to support me in such a long time, I hope you continue to enjoy my content and continue to support me going forward. Thank you very much. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, please leave a like and subscribe. Also, check out the description to my Wattpad, where I post my stories, because in addition to doing all these videos on my channel, I'm also a writer. And if you don't enjoy my stories, or simply enjoy my videos, you can head over to my Patreon, my Ko-fi account, or my PayPal, where you can pledge your support and help get the channel going, help support me so I can keep writing the stories you enjoy. But if you don't want to do any of that, that's completely fine. You can still help me out in other ways, like liking this video, subscribing to the channel, and especially sharing this video with someone who you think might enjoy it. And I think it's pretty much it for this video, so hopefully I'm gonna see you in the next one. Bye!